Welcome back to my hobby room as I try to use what I have. So here's what I saw recently. I noticed this really cute happy birthday card, and look at all those candles. How cute are they? And they're arranged and then a happy birthday on top, and I don't know why it caught my eye as something I just wanted to make. And I thought about it and I was like, look at those really cool looking flames. I zoomed in and I believe those are gems. And guess what? I have some of those gems or something like them, not maybe not the exact ones. And I have candles, and my candles aren't exactly those same ones. And I have a scripty happy birthday, and it may not be the same one either. But guess what? I can put them together and make a card like this. And I thought that would be a great idea for today. So get ready to watch me make my version of this card. All right, so there's the gems that you saw in the beginning. And there's the die. There, I'm showing you the gems. And there's the dies I have. Now I have two dies, but I'm only going to use the one because if you use both of them, it makes a pattern on it. And I decided to use pattern paper instead. So I grabbed some pattern paper, and I don't know why, I just wanted red today. Today was a red day for me. Sometimes that's a good sign. When I like bright colors, I feel like, the sun is shining and I like bright colors and things seem pretty good. So I'm grabbing red, and that's a good thing. And boy, let me tell you, you are glad that I sped this up because it was a whole lot of that going through. Do it again. Going through. Do it again because I needed a lot of candles. If you'll notice on that example, there were a lot of candles on there, a lot more than I thought there were when I first looked at it. And I noticed it needed to go all the way across. So my idea was to go ahead and do a ton of candles, just run them through, see what I have. If you have a few extra candles, is that the worst thing that happens? I don't think so. I really like the idea of using the pattern paper, and I found these smaller polka dots, which I think is kind of important for this card because if the polka dots are too big, I don't think it looks right for a candle. So, and then the other thing too is you got to kind of try to make sure your candle looks somewhat straight. You don't want it to be all crooked on there, unless you make it crooked on purpose. It's a whole nother thing. So I was trying to make them kind of crooked, and it's kind of funny is some of these little flames were coming out of there, and they were looking kind of neat because the polka dot happened to be in the middle of it, and if you made that yellow right there, I think it would look kind of like a neat little flame. But I already have it in my head. I'm going to use those gems, so that's where we're going with that. All right, as I'm going to put these through, I will go ahead and show you. Look at, did I use all that paper? Yes, I did. Used all of it and then some. Next up, we're going to take a look at them, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. Do I want to put it on there? Do I want to... Oh, you know what? These are one of those backgrounds I have. Remember the backgrounds I made? This is one I really liked. And I had a lot of ideas for what I could do with it. This wasn't even on my radar, but I think it looks really cool with the red. It's a nice contrast. It's light. I really like it. I thought, hey, this is going to be perfect. So what I'm doing here is, and I am not going to make you watch all of this even sped up because that's just not needed because there were a lot of little ones. So I went around the outside, and I did speed it up, but I went around the outside, and in a couple of seconds here, you'll see I bring in, yep, a different marker, and it's alcohol markers, and I kind of, spread it out so it looks like it's lighter in the middle, like so. Try to give it depth so it looks round is what you're trying to do. So I did that on all of them. It seems kind of like a ridiculous amount of work when you're using pattern paper, but I really think it gives it a little bit of extra depth. And in person, I noticed on the camera it doesn't show up as much, but in person you really do see it. So I think it was worth the time I took to do it. And it did take a little bit of time. So I think I do four of them here, and then I think I just come back and show you all of them done because nobody has time for all of that. There, you see me using the marker on it. And I went ahead and did all the rest of them, and there they are. And I really like the way I put that pattern on there, and I'm really digging this. I'm thinking it looks cool. I like it even more so than they use the white on theirs. And I'm looking at these now trying to figure out, do I have enough of them? I counted them, but then the very first one I go to grab flicked off and I couldn't find it. That was kind of fun. So then I have to decide what I'm going to do with this. Oh, I do this first, yeah. This was a lot of work. This was a lot of work. Um, Popping up every one of these, and of course it couldn't be the width of the foam tape that I have. I had to cut them all in half. So it just seemed like a lot of busy work to me, repetitious busy work. But in the end, I think it was really worth it because it does add something for it to be popped up and, because it's supposed to be the candles like that. It makes them look cool that they're sitting off. And then the dimension on the um, flame, matches it then too. So it's not sticking way up and the candle being flat down. Because I looked at it several times and thought, do I really want to do all that work? And I did do it, so obviously I thought it was worth it. And the different widths that you have for foam tape are really nice. I don't know why I just needed to cut them in half. I don't know why I don't have any that is a smaller width. Probably because I don't use them as much, is what I'm guessing. I have a lot of very skinny, like double-sided tape, but I just don't have any with the dimension that's skinnier. Probably because I think, oh, you could just cut it in half if you need to. But this was a lot of cutting in half and a lot of playing around with the little candles there. But in the end, I think it was worth it. So in that background, if you look at it again in um, the video where I made the backgrounds, you can see a little bit more. I used that water on there. And that kind of looks neat with the candles because the flickering of the candle, kind of makes those kind of, little soft spots when you're looking at them. I just think it came out looking really neat that way. It just was one of those happy accidents that I made that background and happened to use it. So I'm trying to get them kind of somewhat, even, but not necessarily. Like, like organically uneven, is that a thing? I think that the red really stands out on this yellow and green, and you could argue that red, yellow, and green are not like they're not supposed to be. These are candles. The candles are the focal point, and I want them to stand out. And I'm really delighted with the way the color looks with the candles in front of it. So that part I'm happy about. Um, when I get to the part where I am putting the flames on, I did decide that I would put different size flames. And I could have cut more of the candles. I just cut the ones on the ends to make them smaller to give the illusion that some are bigger and some are smaller, but really they're all the same size, just the ones on the ends. So I did one just to see how the little one would look if it would look too small, or if I needed it. But I like the little ones mixed with the medium size one, and I put one larger one on there. And I just did it because I don't know. I felt like it needed it. Just needed that one to stick out and not be all the same. So I did already cut out my happy birthday down there. That's from Tim Holtz scripty sentiments. I'm trying to think of what all's on there. I think it's like happy birthday. Uh, I'm trying to think of what else is on there. I can't think of any of them right off the top. But I know Happy Birthday's on there because you'll see at the top right up there in the frame, you'll see that the die is there. So now I'm putting these on, and I am adding a little bit of glue because even though they stick pretty well, I just feel like they're going to fall off later. I don't know why. I don't trust them. But, I keep putting the glue on there, and if it makes me feel better that they're going to stay on, then I'm okay with that. Now, these also are not all like yellow. The ones that they used in the example that I saw, they were all the same. And these are not. These all have they're a different kind of a main color. I don't think you see it very well on here, but some of them, when I got them up closer, you could see some of them kind of have a greenish look to them. Some have more of an oranger look. And I tried to use the orange and yellow ones. I think I used one or two of the greener looking ones. But either way, I think it still looks neat. It doesn't take away from it that they're not, just all a super like, yellow look. I think it looks like pretty cool looking candles. And I did draw with a pen the line in between. So you'll see the line when I show it up close. But I did draw the line first so that I wouldn't have to worry about drawing it up to the gem. So if you ever try to draw a line and then with a gem there, it seems like you just can't get the pen up close enough to it. So I drew the line first from the candle bottom. See, there's the bigger one. I put that one on there. And then the scripty thing, what I try to do is start it with the H on the very first candle, and then have the end of the birthday of the Y be on the very last candle. Barely. It's barely on the very last. I probably could have moved it, but I wanted the B to be on a candle and not in between the two candles, the line for the B. So here I'm putting glue on. And gluing them, I always just put a little few dots in there, and I end up running a very thin, try not to make it too much so it doesn't stick out. It's a very thin line of glue all the way through and all the way around so it sticks and stays stuck everywhere and doesn't get, coming up when you go to put it in the envelope or something like that. So there, you see I put that H, that line right on the edge of that very first one. And I kind of eyeballed it to make sure it was straight. I probably could have used a T-ruler for sure. I did not. I say that and now I'm thinking, wow, I really hope this birthday looks straight after I announced that. One of the things I didn't look for, which would have been kind of nice, would have been to make sure that the eye, the dot on top of the eye, make sure that it landed on a candle. It actually lands right on the very edge, and I kind of moved it over a little bit and hope it looks all right. But that would have been something to look for when I got ready to do this too, though. I was more looking to make sure it kind of ends. It's not too big of a space. I thought the example had a big space between happy and birthday, a bigger space than I have. And I was trying not to, make it too big of a space, but I think it came out pretty good with that. And then again, the the little the little dot on the eye, it's sitting there on my. There you go. I'm gonna put it right there, and it's right on the edge of that one. So I pick it up and put it on there, and that's pretty much the card right there. I think it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, and I hope you enjoyed watching me make it today. So the next time you see a card you like, find the items in your own stash, make it your own way, use what you have. Keep crafting. And dance by the light of the moon.